5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cue talent.
Welcome back to The Take on Point TV, a show where we get to hear different media professionals and their take on the media industry. I'm Isa, your Season 2 host, and we have an exciting but different show for you guys today. Our guests include John Puckett, a film editor with credits on films, documentaries, and television series, including I Can Only Imagine 2, House of David, Homestead, Jesus Revolution, and The Jesus Music, who will be interviewed by Weston Van Soest, an aspiring filmmaker and student here who recently won an award at Loma Land Film Festival. Our second guest is Mackenzie Lackey, a student here at Point Loma who is currently working on her camera skills. So let's jump to Mackenzie, who is going to share a little bit more about her journey in getting more equipped with cameras.
Hi, I'm Mackenzie, and I've been learning how to use the Canon R8. Here are some of the more recent photos I took. This is a couple shoot that I did, which was super fun. We got lots of really good ones in here. So this is the R8. One of my favorite things that I love about it is that it is super lightweight, super easy to carry. It's a mirrorless camera, and it also has that autofocus, which is super helpful when I'm moving around and gives me some stabilization. So this is one of the portrait shoots I ended up doing. One of my favorite things about this one is that it has the backlight with the sun setting, and I positioned it this way because it kind of gives her that halo effect. I took a photography class here at Loma, and my professor was super helpful in having us do lots of portrait photography, and one of her favorite things was doing backlit photos. So that's why I tested out here, and it turned out super well, and there's some of my thanks. Bye.
Welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed getting to know Mackenzie. My name is Weston Van Soest, and I'll be stepping in for Isa today to interview John Puckett, a film editor and the guest for filmmaker for Point Loma's Loma Land Film Festival. John, it's great to have you here today.
It's good to be here, man.
Well, let's get straight into it.
Yeah.
I feel like every filmmaker has a moment where they know this is their calling. What was that like for you?
Man, I don't know if I have that moment, to be completely honest, because I always wanted to do filmmaking. So, like, even when my teachers were like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I was like, always wanted to be a director. That was it for sure. I think if I had to pinpoint something, my dad showing me Jaws for the first time, and I don't know if you've seen it, but there's that scene where that kid gets attacked in the ocean and they do that Hitchcock pull. And my dad explained to me how they do that, the dolly zoom thing, and I was like, whoa, like there's so much you can do in filmmaking behind the scenes and stuff. So that probably is when I started really wanting to be like behind the camera, you know, but I don't know, I've literally always wanted to do film my entire life.
That's amazing. I feel like every filmmaker has a similar story where it's something that piques their interest like that, and then
yeah,
it's all downhill from there.
Yeah, that one movie or that one shot that just like speaks to you.
So as a film editor, what is your editing process like? And are there things about being a film editor that most people don't understand?
Let's see, my process is, that's a hard question because there's a lot that goes into it. I think what I try to do, and maybe what is controversial or maybe people don't understand, is I really try to clear my mind of what the script is or what the director or the cinematographer were really intending, because I do feel like whatever they shot, whatever they wrote, and then whatever they shot, when it comes into my hands, it's completely different. So they might think, you know, when they shot it, oh, this take was amazing, but when it comes to me, I'm like, I don't know what you saw on that day, but like, it doesn't have that magic. This shot has that magic. So I try not to get too obsessed with circle takes, which circle takes are, you know, the takes that the director really likes. I really just try to clear my mind and try to really focus on what's best for the story first, and then they'll come in, they'll speak into it afterwards. But my first cut is my pitch for how the story should go, and then from there we start collaborating and working on how to meld those two ideas.
Interesting. So you mentioned how you have a lot of say in how the overall storytelling of the film turns out in the end.
Yeah.
Do you have any role in the beginning process of writing the story and how that looks?
I wish I had more. No, I'm just kidding. No, it depends. Sometimes they send me the script. When I work with Brent McCorkle, he'll send me a script and I'll speak into it at certain stages. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes it comes to me first time. But yeah, it's in editing. You are speaking into the script a lot because they call it the final rewrite. So the old adage is, you write a script and that's the script that you wrote, and then you shoot the script. Well, that becomes a different movie. So you rewrite it when you shoot it, and then when it comes to me, it gets rewritten again. We're moving stuff around. We're changing plot lines. We're moving plot lines entirely. So in sort of a roundabout way, I guess I do influence that original script. But yeah, sometimes I'm involved in the writing process, but not always.
That's very cool. You've worked on so many documentaries, films, and TV shows. Is there any one or multiple that stick out particularly in what taught you the most or changed the way that you look at storytelling as a whole?
It's like asking me to pick a favorite child. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, each one has its lesson, and I try to be open to that and to the lesson because, ideally every film I make changes me as a filmmaker, and I'm continuously growing. So then when I watch it, when I'm done with the movie I currently worked on, I watch the movie before that, I want to look at that and be like, oh, I was worse then. Like, that was the worst movie I made, and the next one's gonna be even better. I will say, like, maybe in terms of like learning the most, everybody should do, edit a documentary at some point. It's a crazy process because in a documentary, I say, editing is the third and final rewrite. In a documentary, editing is the only write. Like, that's it. You are writing the thing completely, and it's full creativity, and it's grueling. It's a trial by fire for sure to do a documentary. But no, man, I don't know if one sticks out particularly. I think each one had its lesson, and I just keep trying to grow every time I work on something.
That's really great insight. And as someone who's tried to work on a documentary, I can understand where you're coming from.
It's intense.
It's definitely no easy task.
Yeah.
Next question, is there anything that you used to believe about the film industry that you now see differently?
Oh man, these are good questions. I think it might sound kind of sad, but I don't think it is. But the magic of filmmaking gets lost a little bit. Because when you watch these things, if the filmmakers have done their job, you really just get lost into the world, and you're not thinking about the camera angles, the writing, and stuff like that. Especially in editorial, you really start to see the seams. But it changes your perspective, so where instead of being lost in the world, I can see the craft and the artistry and the talent. If it's what completely put together, I can see just how hard it is to make something. And I think that's another part of it is I give grace to a lot more films because making a film is really, really hard. It's stupidly hard. So like before, your filmmaker, you might watch something and be like, oh, this sucked because X, Y, and Z, and this plot point didn't make sense. But once you make a film, you're like, man, I'm just glad they got through it because it is tough. Filmmaking is definitely tough.
Yeah, that is a great point, and it brings me to ask the question. You have been involved in a lot of different Christian films. That's a big part of the things that you've worked on. Mm-hmm. Is any part of that process prayerful? Like, do the directors try to rely on God?
I believe so. I mean, I know that sometimes they'll do a prayer. Before you shoot, you always have a safety meeting because safety on set is like paramount. And I know that when they do these safety meetings, they end them in a prayer, which I'm sure for the Christians on set, that means a lot. I think too, like, their faith and our faith is coded in every single one of these films. Whether it's overt or not, I mean, I think we just want to have a world that is loving and caring to each other, and that's, if you watch these movies, the movies I'm on, or other faith films, mostly, that is the message, right? Of love and caring for each other and loving each other. And so I think that is coded into the script and the stories, and I think that's also coded into the way that they make these films. Because if you have a good environment on set, I genuinely believe that makes a better product.
Yeah, and it definitely comes through. Jesus Revolution, one of the films that you worked on, it's very clear. It comes across, you can just tell that there's a whole team that is working on the ins and outs of that. Mm-hmm. What is it like to be a part of a team like that?
It's an honor, man. It's a huge, huge honor. I mean, Jesus Revolution, I love that movie so much. And in a lot of ways, I did not deserve to work on it. I mean, that was my first feature film. They really kind of threw me in on the deep end on it. But yeah, it's just a huge honor to be a part of it and speak into it and have, the sense of control that I did have over it, but also, working with, on that one, John Irwin and Brent McCorkle, who are so gracious and really great to work with. I don't know. It was sort of, I don't want to say a dream come true, because that's cliche, but it was a really, really awesome experience. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Would you say that an experience like that impacted your faith in any way?
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I wouldn't say that experience in of itself. I think Brent McCorkle, who's directed on that, me and him are really, really good friends. And I think Brent has impacted my faith in a lot of ways, which, again, it's going back to the idea of just loving each other, right? I owe my career where I'm at to Brent McCorkle because he wants to give back, right? That's his like calling in life almost, is to give back. It was hard for him getting into the industry, and so now he wants to make it easier for other people. So I met him in college, and he pulled me up with him, right? So now that I'm where I'm at, I want to look at, people like you and other students and pull them up with me as well and give back as much as I can.
That's a beautiful thing, and we really appreciate that. Let's zoom out for a second. What is one thing that you wish someone would have told you as you were trying to get into the film industry?
There's a lot. There's a lot. That's a long list. I think one, that the first film that you make is going to suck, and it's supposed to suck. And it's okay. Like, I think maybe the broader thing is it's okay to fail, because failing means you grow. So I think the first film that I ever made was horrible. It's called Tim. You can look at it. Go to ACU Film Fest. Look at it, and it's atrocious. And the judges ripped into us, and I think that before that moment, I would have thought that level of failure would ruin me, which is so stupid because I was a college kid. Who cares? But you get so much ego because your art is putting your soul on screen, so. But it didn't ruin me, and I grew from it, and I think getting that ego in check and learning that, hey, I'm still learning, I'm still a student, and I will always be a student, was a really awesome experience. So, yeah, I think roundabout way of saying it's okay to fail, and actually failure is kind of the point, especially in the early stages.
Yeah, and I feel like that's great advice for life in general.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. It's been amazing to chat with you today. If there's anything else that you'd like to shout out or mention to our viewers.
I don't know when this goes out, but go see I Can Only Imagine 2 in theaters right now. And, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us here on The Take. We are so thankful for all of your knowledge and insight. Let's jump to Aria, who's going to share a controversial media topic on our last segment, The Hot Take.
So bad. That's kind of what inspired this whole thing, because they're horrible. Yeah, literally.
Thank you, Addison.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, I'm Aria, and this is my hot take. Having a following for one type of content shouldn't automatically qualify you to make music. And I'm saying this as someone who loves music. I love genres, I love weird sounds, I love artists who take risks. But somewhere along the way, we started treating fame like a certification for everything. Music isn't a resume bullet, it's a craft. All of a sudden, if you can dance, look good, and rack up views, suddenly you're in the studio yeah, let's drop an EP, or yeah, let me just start acting. And I'm sorry, but a fan base is not a skill set, it's an audience. Fame can get you in the room, but it can't do the work for you. Take Addison Rae. She's pretty, and the camera loves her, but the music thing? Be so for real. People keep acting like streams equal talent. She has 18 million monthly listeners on Spotify, and I'm okay, how many of those are because the song is genuinely good, and how many are those is because it's catchy, curated, and the vocals are being carried by autotune with the perfect beat? I miss music that feels like someone bled a little making it. But it's not just her. Cat's Eye, don't jump me, but what a mess. They're talented dancers, don't get me wrong. I'm actually liked their Gap commercial, but the songs, they're designed to trend on TikTok, not designed to be good. Music shouldn't sound like it was engineered for a scroll, and that's my issue. Music is starting to feel like merch, like an accessory people add once they hit a certain level of fame just because they can. I want to hear taste. I want to hear your point of view, not just product. I'm not saying celebrities can't make music. I'm saying maybe not everyone needs to. Sometimes the brand is stronger when you stay in your lane. That's it. That's my take. Thanks for joining us, and we hope to catch you next time. From the control room to your screen, that's The Take.